Chronicles of Vladimir Tod. What is this? You may be asking yourself that question, right? Like, what the hell is that? So, this book is it's a YA novel, right? It's a vampire book. Why am I stuttering? And that's what it is. Hi, my name is Levy. I'm going to be making, I guess, a video essay about this book, because the brain rot has got to me. Also, I would like to just give a huge spoiler warning. If you are not interested in reading these books, but would just like to know knowledge of them, this is a perfect book for you. Or if you're a fan of the books and already know what happens, it's just, you could just watch it for some fun media of a book you like. So, yeah, I just want to throw that out there. Big spoiler warning. I will be going over a lot of crucial details and big plot points that happen throughout all of these books. So, yeah. Is the order of the books. So, I've got the order of the books here right now. Actually, I don't. I'm kind of looking at my bookshelf kind of far away. So, sorry, let me lock in. The first book is called The Chronicles of Vladimir Tod, 8th Grade Bites. This shit is so peak. Sorry for cursing. It's my YouTube video, who cares? 8th Grade Bites, and there is 9th Grade Slays, 10th Grade Burns? Wait. Okay, pause. I'll be right back. Okay, I got the order wrong. It is 10th grade Bleeds, 11th grade Burns, and then 12th grade Kills. So they basically go through his life as, just an 8th grader, and then eventually high schooler. Okay, so now I'm going to go over some, characters, some, basic level characters. And obviously, I won't be able to go through all of these characters at once, right? But I will just, start out and give you some of the, basic characters from, at least the first book. Okay, so, characters. Okay, I'm doing just basic characters, right? First of all, we've got Vladimir. He's this guy. So his name is Vlad. He's half human, half vampire. I don't know if I mentioned that this is a vampire book. I probably should have. So this is guy Vlad. He has an aunt. Well, I'll get into that later. He lives with this lady called Nellie. She is a nurse. She gets blood for him. He's essentially a vegan vampire, right? So his aunt gets him blood bags from the hospital where she works. And then there's Henry. Henry's his best friend, childhood best friend, basically. And so yeah, that's that. Sorry for stuttering so much. Oh my gosh. I haven't recorded a real sit down and talk video, or not talk, but you know what I mean. So those are the first 3 characters I think you learn about. And you've got Vlad's parents, Thomas Tod and Melina Tod. They are his parents, right? They are dead. He is an orphan. So there's that. There's a teacher, Mr. Craig. I'm not going to spoil this, but there is a substitute teacher who comes in. His name is Otis. We will find out more about him later. So, yeah, there's that. Those are, basic characters you went throughout the first book. Oh, there's this girl, Meredith. She is, Vlad's, love interest, They don't really get together or anything. Or, at the end, there's, this cute little moment. But she's, the girl he has a crush on, right? So those are, your basic characters you need to know. So, I am now going to talk about the plot of the first book. Well, not really plot, like deep dive into it, essentially. Okay, not gonna lie, I kind of had to pull up the PDF on Google, but the book starts out with what I believe to be Doblo, after Mr. Craig. He's asking, where's the boy? As in Vlad. Where's he at? And he's like, Vladimir Tod? I don't know. But Vlad and Mr. Craig were, like, friends. Like, Vlad's kind of a loner at school. His best friend Henry's pretty popular, but Vlad himself doesn't have very many friends, really. He's pretty lonely, right? So he talks to Mr. Craig a lot. They're like friends, right? Soon Mr. Craig goes missing. Vlad finds out on, I believe, Halloween night that, well, I don't know why I'm saying I believe, it just makes me feel smarter. But on Halloween night, Henry's like, oh, did you hear Mr. Craig's gone missing? And Vlad's like, no. But they're talking. Vlad is dressed as a vampire, and Henry is dressed as his victim, which is very funny because when Henry knows Vlad's a vampire. Vlad bit Henry when they were 8 years old, so Henry's known for a long time, right? He knows, and the funny thing was that Henry dressed as a victim and Vlad dressed as a vampire. So they're talking about John Craig being missing, and Vlad's pretty upset because the principal's been their sub for a while, but the principal doesn't like Vlad. It's super stupid thing. It's short and it doesn't really matter, but okay. Anyways, so next day at school, Vlad and Henry, I don't know if they have the same class. I think they do. Or I don't know, they don't have the same class. Or same class for the period. But, so, Vlad walks in. I don't think there's anybody there when he first walks in, but eventually Otis walks in. I mentioned him earlier. He is the substitute teacher. He talks to the class. He's like, listen, I've set up seating charts and stuff like that. And I was like, how long does this guy think he's staying? But, so he sets up a seating chart for everybody. He goes through, he assigns work, assigns like a, what do you call it whenever your teacher gives you like a overview of what the rest of your year is going to be? It's essentially that. He does that with all of his assignments. He assigns that to them. And Vlad's like, okay. And Otis explains to the class that he taught mythology, and he's been teaching for a very, very long time. Even, like, he's been teaching for a while. And so he tells the class that, and he's like, I know this is your English class, but I'm going to try and incorporate mythology as well into your English class. So they do that. So basically, Vlad gets this assignment from his other class. It's a history project, sort of. It's like your family tree, right? You have to go through your family tree. So Vlad's up in his attic that he didn't know about for some reason, until his aunt was like, dude, just go to the attic. I'm sure you'll find some photo albums or something up there. So he's up in the attic, he's looking around, and he doesn't really find anything, but he does find this, like, small 6-inch, like, cylinder thing, and it's very tiny, and he starts just carrying it around with him, but Vlad's kind of unsatisfied about what he has found, so he's like, hey, Henry, I'm gonna go to my old house, because before he lived with Nellie, he obviously lived with his parents, but his parents died in a house fire. I know, the most dramatic backstory you could ever think of. So he goes to his father's old place, right, or his old house, because Nellie still pays the bill because he just wasn't ready for someone else to live there. He walks in, everything's the same as the day he left. Nothing's really changed. And so he's walking through, he hasn't found anything. He's in his father's old study. He's looking around, he hasn't found anything. And Henry's like, dude, just give it up. There's nothing here. And Vlad's like, dude, I know there's something here. He goes into his, I think, either it's like a closet in his dad's study or his parents' bedroom. I can't remember which, but he goes in there. He touches this little, like, glyph on the wall. His eyes light up purple, right? So he's in there. He finds this journal called the Chronicles of Thomas Tod. Wow, crazy big moment. So he opens it. He opens it by putting his hand on the cover, and his eyes light up purple. So he's like, whoa, this is crazy. Henry's like, dude, your eyes are purple. And he's like, what the hell are you talking about? So he goes to the bathroom, and he touches the book. His eyes are purple. He's like, whoa, that's crazy. He's like, okay, whatever, crazy, blah, blah, blah. So that happens, he holds on to this journal for a little while. Basically, I'm going to skip forward a little bit because there's not really much that's important for a little while. Basically, there's this assignment that Vlad has to do. It's like this, like, project that his teacher's making him do, Otis. And it's like, you have to pick Otis wears his top hat. He's like, okay, you're gonna put all of your, Jesus, I am so sorry. I don't know why I'm stuttering so bad. I don't really have a script. I'm kind of going off of memory right now. I'm confident my memory is pretty accurate at the very least. So he's got a bunch of, like, mini papers in this top hat, right? He's like, draw something from this top hat, and that's the mythological creature you have to do. And Vlad's like, okay, he fucking better not get vampire, right? Haha. So Vlad's making it, he's like, he really does not want to get vampire. He does not want to get vampire. He's, like, so mad, right? And he pulls, something from this top hat. He gets werewolf, but suddenly the words start to change. Or Vlad sighs a sigh of relief, right? He's like, thank God I didn't get vampire. And suddenly the words start to change on the paper. Vampire. So he's like, oh, hell no, I am not doing this shit. So he's like, Mr. Otis, can I get a different paper? He's like, and Otis is like, the fate is called. It's your destiny. You have to. And he's like, okay. Then at the end of class, I'm pretty sure it's the end of class. Yeah. He's like, hey, listen, can I seriously get a different one? Can I redraw? And Otis is like, okay, you can. And he redraws again, and he gets a vampire again. And Otis is like, it's a sign. It's So he's like, okay. Whatever. He really doesn't want to do it, but he gets home. Now he's like, listen, it might be good. You can, like, vent about your vampire struggles without, like, anybody knowing. He's like, that is true. So he does it. It's whatever. He doesn't like it at first, but eventually he drops this banger line in this book. Sorry if you can hear me, like, rustling. I talk with my hands, and I'm kind of doing it right now. So he writes this banger line at the end of his essay that he has to perform in front of the class. I'm not a monster, I'm just me. I have wrote this on countless bathroom stalls, and so many times on my walls. This line stuck with me as a little 11-year-old. Y'all don't get the chokehold this had on me. I actually loved this line, and I loved this whole segment of the book. It was amazing, right? So, anyway, it might not be that important to you, but I am very emotional. So, he writes that. He eventually, on the day he has to present. I'm skipping a little bit again. Some of the stuff I tell you might not be in perfect order. I'm gonna guarantee you it will not be. And that's just all more the reason to read the books yourself, because they are fantastic. So he's whoa, sorry. He's Jesus, oh my gosh, I am so sorry, I'm stuttering, I'm like totally blanking. So the day he goes to do his presentation, he forgot all that he wrote, so he kind of just wings it and he does it on the fly, because I guess he didn't turn in the paper to Otis. I guess it's like a oral thing. You don't really write it on paper, or you can write it on paper, but you have to memorize it and stuff. So he just goes up there, he thugs that shit out, and, but before he does, Otis is like, hey, Vlad, would you like to pass this garlic out to the class? Just be a little interesting thing I wanted you to do. And he's like, I'm allergic to garlic. And Otis is like, oh, are you now? And Vlad's like, yes, you can check with the school. I'm allergic. I can't have it. And Otis is like, okay, if you say so. So he doesn't make him pass it out, doesn't open it at all. So he lets him do his presentation, and Otis is already thinking, he's like, okay. So he does his presentation, does pretty good. Everybody laughed. Even Meredith, the girl he has a crush on, laughed. Everybody liked it. It was great. Which is crazy, considering nobody really likes Vlad. Vlad actually gets kind of bullied at school. He has these two bullies. This is kind of just, important lore, I guess. Well, not important lore. I could do this whole video without me telling you that he gets bullied, and it would be fine. So, he basically, gets bullied by these two people, Bill and Tom. They're just, I think they're jocks or something. And there's one time where I think Tom, pins him down, and he's Vlad can, read minds, right? Kind of, he only learned recently at the beginning of the book that he could. He thought he could only read Henry's because he bit Henry, so he thought it was just a him and Vlad sort of thing. So he's there, he's like, dude, wouldn't want Bill to find out you're missing your ballet practice, right? And Tom's like, what the fuck? It's stupid, but yeah. So there's that. Is there anything else I need to think about for that? Okay, I don't think so. I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. Otis essentially invites himself over to Vlad's house for some reason. He sort of, or wait, no, actually, I need to talk about something else before I talk about that. Vlad goes back to his old house one night. I'm not sure if this is before or after the dinner, but I'll bring it up anyways right now. He goes to his old house. You remember how I mentioned Otis has a top hat? Vlad walks into his old house, and on the little coat hanger, he notices Otis's top hat, and he's like, okay. And there's this little thing under his doormat, or no, not under his doormat, on his porch, and it's the symbol with parentheses. So it's Vlad's like, what the hell? And so that happened. It was he's like, did Otis kill Mr. Craig? It's this little thing he thinks. He's like, I think Otis killed Mr. Craig, and I think he's gonna kill me next, or something. But, so then you've got the dinner scene. I think what I just talked about comes before the dinner scene. So Otis meets Nellie just eventually just out and about, you know what I mean? And he's like, I think Nellie invites him over is what it is. So he comes over and he's like, after class, he's like, Vlad, I was just letting you know I met your aunt the other day, and I was wondering if it would be okay if I come over. And Vlad's like, I'd prefer not, but I mean, I can't stop you. So Otis comes over. They eat meatloaf because meatloaf is pretty easy for Vlad to hide blood with. And Vlad doesn't really like human food. Not really. Like, he thinks some of it's good, but he just preferred not to eat it, you know? So he's like, okay, alright, I guess I'll eat it. He doesn't really like cooked meat. I'm pretty sure he brings it up a few times, that he just doesn't like cooked meat. He thinks it's pretty gross, actually. So he has to suffer through this damn meal, and he's like, ugh, I hate it. So he's like, they're eating. Otis just, he's being creepy. Otis is very creepy in this book. He's quite strange, quite peculiar, honestly. So, I don't remember what exactly he says, but he says something that just, like, sets Vlad off. And Vlad's like, get the hell out of my house. Like, leave my home. Also, Vlad is wearing a shirt that says vampires suck during this whole dinner sequence, right? And Otis is like, well, let me use the bathroom before I go. And once Vlad, gets home, or once Vlad goes to his room while he thinks Otis is in the bathroom, he sees Otis, like, I don't think he sees him, but he notices the exact same symbol in parentheses that was on Mr. Craig's porch, on a little box full of just stuff that's important to him. So, or I think it might be on top of his dresser, something. The little symbol is carved into some sort of wood. And Vlad's like, what the hell? And this is him saying that I'm next, you know? So that happens. There's this one night where Vlad sneaks out to the high school, the Belfry, I think is what he calls it, or what it is, yeah. He sneaks over to the high school, I'm pretty sure, and he goes to the Belfry. It's like this, like, you can look it up. It's a thing that's, like, in churches and stuff, because their high school used to actually be a church, is what, I'm pretty sure that's why they have a Belfry. Anyways, so, he goes to the Belfry, you know, he sneaks out a lot, you know, he likes to stay up late, you know, he's a vampire, what do you expect? So, he's out and about on the Belfry one night, and he notices Otis's car. Otis has this busted up ass car. It's really busted. He has this car, and it's like, okay, buddy. He notices it, and he's like, oh, that's Otis's car. So he, like, sneaks over to this tree, and there's this other guy. You remember Dablo? I mentioned him at the beginning of this video. Dablo is, like, the villain of this book, essentially. You think it's Otis, which he kind of is, sort of, but you see Dablo, and he's the real villain of the story. So Dablo's like, have you found him? And Otis is like, I don't know yet. I don't know. Give me just some time, you know? And Dablo's like, bro, what the hell? You've been here for like 2 months. Hurry it up. Bring him over, you know? So Vlad is there. He's kind of sitting in this tree right in front of them. And he's like, I swear to God, I just saw this hoe look at me. And he's like, I swear to God, Otis just looked at me. Because, you know, like, he's not that far away, right? He's, like, holding himself up on the damn tree branches. He's in this tree. So, he's there. He's in this tree. And that's really it. It's just a scene of Dablo and Otis talking. And you get this, like, weird feeling from it. You're like, okay, this is going to be very important. What's this about? So that happens. I'm going to skip forward a little bit because so basically Vlad is like talking to Henry. He's like, dude, seriously, I think Otis is going to kill me. Because he talks about killing Vlad and that last thing I just talked about and stuff like that. He's like, dude, he's going to kill me. And Vlad's like, he's a vampire and he killed my parents and he's going to kill me. Okay, sorry, I'm going to repeat what I just said, but add something to it. He's like, dude, he killed Mr. Craig, he killed my parents, and now he's going to kill me. Like, I know it. Like, I'm next. And Henry's like, listen, don't you think you're being a little, like, obsessive? I don't think he killed your parents, and I don't think he's a vampire. We don't even know how many vampires there are, let alone in Bathory, their town. I think that's what's called, Bathory? Yeah. So Vlad's like, dude, I know it. I know it. So he's talking, they're, like, supposed to, like, I don't really know what their plan is, but Vlad's just, I think Vlad's just talking, you know? Eventually, see, my memory gets a little, but I'm pretty sure Vlad says something, he's like, or wait, no, okay, so, I don't remember how Otis ends up at Vlad's house, right? He's like, listen, Vlad, I've got something to tell you. And Vlad's like, what the fuck are you doing at my house? He's like, why are you here? Or, no, I think what it is Vlad was sick from school one day because he wasn't feeling well. And because he was like, well, he was feeling fine, I'm pretty sure, but he skipped school because obviously he's like, Otis is going to kill me. You know, I don't want to go to school today. So I'm pretty sure that's what happens. And then Otis comes to his house and he's like, I didn't see you at school today. And he's like, dude, what the hell? What are you doing at my house? And Nellie's there, and they're talking for a little bit. And Vlad's like, dude, get the fuck out of my house. And then he's like, and you want to know what I know? You killed Mr. Craig, and you killed my parents, and you're going to kill me. Or you might kill my aunt. He's saying all this stuff. I'm pretty sure. Keep in mind, this is where the ending is kind of where it gets a little tricky. You know what I mean? With my knowledge, or like the last half of the book. So he's saying all this stuff, and Otis is like, listen, Vlad. Wow, okay, I don't know why I pulled out my Trump impression. That was not needed. So basically, he's there, and Otis is like, Vlad, I have something to tell you. I didn't kill your parents. I am actually your father's brother. Wait! I kind of need to add something. This is from way earlier in the book, and I cannot believe I fucking forgot it. It's this scene where Vlad is reading his father's journal in class. He's read it a bunch of times, you know. He's reading it, and I am so sorry that I cut you off from that crazy fucking, reveal, but I really had to mention this. And Vlad's reading his father's journal in class. I don't know why he thought to read it in class, but he is. And Otis is like, hey, what the hell are you reading over there? This is my class. You will do my schoolwork. And Vlad's like, oh my fucking god, this damn teacher. So he goes up. He has to give his father's journal. And he starts talking. After class, he goes to get his journal. And Otis is like, you shouldn't be reading in my class. And is this your father's journal? And Vlad is like, yes, it's my dad's journal. But what the hell? So he's doing all that, blah, blah, blah. It's just this moment, and Vlad's like, well, were you close with your father? All this. It's random. It's mumbo-jumbo. But I just feel like I had to include that. Back to where I was. I am so sorry. I'm a rambler. I kind of get sidetracked a lot. So he's talking to Vlad. He's like, I'm actually your father's brother. I'm your uncle. And Vlad's like, boy, what the hell? He's like, no, you're not. And Otis is like, I'm actually here to protect you. I was actually ordered to kill you, but I am here to protect you. And also, I didn't know if you were actually his, I didn't know if you were really vampire or not. I didn't know if you got, like, his vampire genes, because, you know, maybe your mother's genes could have overpowered that and stuff. So he's just like, I had to do all these tests, I had to figure out. And Vlad's like, oh my god. You know, Otis, he's talking, he's, like, doing all this stuff, you know, he's revealing some background, right? So, basically, Nellie gets, like, kidnapped. I don't really understand how the fade from them talking to Nellie getting kidnapped, but it does happen. It does happen. So, oh, by the way, Mr. Craig and Thomas and Vlad's dad, Thomas, were actually really close, and basically Dablo killed Mr. Craig, and basically when you put your mark, or not your mark, well, yeah, your, like, symbol on something of someone's, it means that they are very important to you, and that, like, if you hurt them, something bad will happen to you, basically, is what that means. Like, if you do that for, like, a human. basically. So, just want to give a little there. He's like, I didn't kill Mr. Craig. Doblo killed Mr. Craig. I don't know why the hell he did that, honestly. That was kind of fucking stupid, but whatever. So, he's killed Mr. Craig. Nope. He didn't kill Mr. Craig. He didn't kill his parents, blah, blah, blah. Nellie gets kidnapped. Nellie gets fucking kidnapped. I don't really remember. They essentially use Nellie as bait to get Vlad to come over so they can kill him. So, basically, like I said, I don't understand the fade, or, like, not the fade, but the transition of them just talking and revealing all that to Nellie getting kidnapped. I'm going to be so honest. I always forget how it just happens, but Nellie gets kidnapped. Right. So, basically, she gets kidnapped. They go, Otis is like, well, gotta go. Do you have a drudge? And Vlad is like, what the hell's a drudge? What is that? So, and Vlad's like, Otis is like a drudge, like a human you've been that, like, you can control, like, your human slave. And Vlad's like, yeah, I guess. I've got Henry, so, yeah, I guess. And Otis is like, that is fantastic. Bring him over. And Vlad's like, okay, I guess. And he's like, he calls Henry on the phone. He's like, hey, Henry, can you come here, And Henry's like, hell yeah. So he comes and he's like, why is Otis in your car, in your driveway? And Vlad's like, don't worry about it. Just get in the car. And he's like, okay, well. And Otis keeps referring to Henry as, like, a drudge. And he's like, what the fuck is that? What does he mean by that? And Vlad's like, I'll explain it later. You don't need to worry about that right now. So they go to the Elsian Council in Stokerton. It's like this big building, right? They're at this place in Stokerton. So they're there. Otis gives Henry this, like, water gun full of, like, garlic juice or whatever. He's like, do not open this damn door for anybody and keep these damn windows up. But if something happens, squirt this shit in somebody's face and someone's eyes and an open wound or whatever. Somewhere that it will kill them, And Henry's like, got you. So, basically, they walk in. Vlad is still kind of, like, hit with this, like, shock about Otis being his uncle and stuff. So he's filled with this, like, weird feeling, right? And so he's there, they're in this building, they're waiting to go see Doblo and, like, the council of Stokerton, right? And they get up there, they meet with Doblo, and Otis is immediately like, I brought the boy! He's here! And Vlad's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I thought... And he's like, nope, I'm here to kill you, actually. I brought you... He leaves the room. They take him to this, like, cell. I'm pretty sure... I think I might be slightly... I might be getting something wrong soon. This might be from a different book, but I know it happens... Oh, wait, okay, no, I got you, never mind, that happens in a different book. So, sorry, got a little sidetracked. He goes to this, like, place, I don't really remember what it is, but Otis is there, and he's like, hey, nephew, what's up? And Vlad's like, what the hell, get the fuck out of here, you just, fuck no, I'd rather die than speak to your ass. So, he's there. And Otis is like, listen, it's all a part of a plan. Just listen to me, okay? Just go on in this, like, I don't know what it is. I think it's like a garbage chute or whatever. He's like, slide down here, this little slide, let's go. They go down there, and they go down there, right? Because Vlad's like, okay, whatever. What's the worst that can happen to me at this point? So he's down there. He finds out that Otis was not lying to him, and Nellie is there. She is, I think, like, Nellie's there, okay? Whatever. It doesn't matter. Nellie's there. And then, what do you call it? Like, insert epic battle scene coming up. Domino comes outside and he's like, hey, what the hell? There's this, like, epic battle. Well, it's not really an epic battle. It's kind of just Domino beating Vlad's ass. But also, I think I tend to pronounce names wrong. I don't know if you pronounce it like Domino or it was something else. I've always said Domino. Anyway, so, sorry, sidetracked. They're fighting, Domino's beating him up. He crushes Vlad's ribs, like he breaks them by stepping on him with insane force. And Vlad's like, what the fuck? So he's done that, right? You remember this little 6-inch cylinder, tiny little thing I mentioned at the beginning of the book that he found in his attic, right? It is called a Lucius, I think. Lucius? That's how I've always said it. And it is actually the most, like, evil fucking vampire weapon ever. It literally kills this guy. Well, okay, we'll get to that later. He shoots it through Domino's stomach. Right? It shoots it through Domino's stomach. He's essentially dying, and Vlad's gonna, like, help him or something. But Otis is like, dude, no, let's just go. He's like, okay. Gets home. After a while, Henry's fucking zonked out in the car. Nellie is just, I don't know. I honestly don't remember Nellie being in this scene. I actually can't lie. But, see, Vlad heals very fast because he's a vampire and stuff. So his fucking broken ribs heal within, like, 2 weeks. So he's out of school for a while, but at the end of the book, there's this scene, and Vlad is like, Otis, are you gonna leave now? And he's like, no, I'll stay for the remainder of the year. But it's the end of the year by now. You know, it's you know, we got like a month left of school. But he's like, I'll stay till the, I mean, it might be a little under that actually, but the school's year's basically over. So okay, sorry, just had like, my mind just went blank for a second. So he's like, you know, I'll stay. And then he brings up the mention of a vampire's, like, mark, or, like their, what do you call, I don't remember what it's called, I'm so sorry. But it's, like, a vampire's, thing. I don't care. So he's like, I can do it for you. Normally, people get it done the day that they become a vampire from their, like, vampire, like, parent. I think that could be wrong, actually, but they get their little mark on their wrist the day that they become a vampire, and it's sort of like the way you show other vampires, you know, you're a vamp, and it's your initials on your wrist, but the initials are different because it is Elsian code, and that's more relevant next book. I honestly may have to do a second parter. I might only do 2 books, or I think I'll do 3 books, and then I'll make a second part and get into the other stuff I wanted to talk about in that next video. I don't know. Anyways, so that's essentially where the book ends. And I think there's, like, this thing where, and at the end of the book, Vlad takes Meredith, I know, haven't mentioned her in a while, the girl he likes, he's like, do you want to go to, like, the end of the year festival thingy with me? And she's like, yes, I would love to go with you. So they go, and that is the end of book 1. Can you believe how long it took me to do all of that? I can't either. I'm trying to get this done in, like, a day. But, yeah, that is the end of book 1.
I know, that's why you came. Bang, bang, take a shot. Love me now, love me not. Fight, close the door, show me that you wanna stop.
Okay, so this is the end of my video. Technically, there was a lot more I wanted to talk about, but I don't necessarily think I'd be the best resource because, yes, I do love these books a lot, and I think about them all the time, like the brain rots got to me. I tend to ramble on quite a lot, and so my brain becomes kind of jumbled. I have really, really bad ADHD. You can see it in this video because I refuse to edit and go through and slice a bunch of stuff and put it all of that. I would rather die than do that. So you can see my ADHD is very bad, and I also have sort of bad memory. I remember these books very well, but once I ramble on, it gets hard to remember them. So I think I would rather you just read it, or maybe I'll inspire someone else to make a video, because I literally cannot. So yeah, I still have to edit like visuals for this video. It will get done. Don't worry. But well, obviously you're not worrying because you're watching this video right now, if you are. But sorry, as I said, ADHD is bad. So I would quickly like to sort of mention the I had a whole long list of stuff I was going to do for this. And I do think the only one that's left on there that I will be able to do, really, for this video would be how I got into these books. So, picture your little 6th grade alt kid. I'm in high school now. So, picture this little alt kid in 6th grade, 2021. You're this little alt 6th grader, and you're in the library, and you use your library books a lot, right? You know, you don't really get library books, but you just return a library book. Way to go. So picture you're in the library. You're not finding anything interesting. You see this emo ass cover. I will put it up on screen. You see this emo little cover of this random like emo looking teenage boy, and you're like, okay, at least this looks interesting. I don't think I even really read the description. Yeah, because it was a hardcover. I don't think I even read the description of the book, like, at all. I just picked it up and checked it out, because that's always what I've done in school. I never really read the books. But I'm walking into my STEM class. I actually fucking hated this teacher. I really didn't like this teacher at all, honestly. She was kind of annoying, but I walk into class. I will forever thank her, though. I don't even think I walked into class when this happened. I was, like, standing outside the doorway, and she's like, oh, I love those books. I have them all. And I'm like, okay. She likes them. Maybe they're good. And I'm like, okay. And she's like, oh, yeah, it's about this, like, half human, half vampire kid. You know, it's super cool. And I'm like, okay, half human, half vampire. My little, I was an emo back then, but my little alternative heart was like, okay, emo. You know what I mean? 11th grade me was like, whoa, 11th grade? Sorry, 11-year-old, not 11th grade. 11-year-old me was like, okay, let me get into it. So I read it. I could not put that shit down. I started reading it, I think or I might have started reading it a little bit, maybe, before that talk. I don't know, I think maybe I read, like, the first page or something. I started reading it, I think, in that class period, though, I'm pretty sure. And I'm like, wait, this is good. And then I go to my band class. I was in band for, like, a year, and then I got kicked out because I was so bad. Anyways, so I'm in my band class. I'm reading this book like a motherfucker. I cannot stop. I'm like, wait, this is so good. So I read the first one, and I'm like, well... And I go to look for the second one, and I'm like, we don't have this. Sorry, I was getting a call off my little friend. So I'm like, wait, we don't have the second one in our library. And so I tell her about this. She's like, oh, okay, you can just borrow mine. I actually brought them for you because I already knew they didn't have the second one. And I'm like, thank you, Miss Hill. Thank you. So I think she gave me the second and third one at the same time. And then I got the 4th and 5th after I finished those. And those books, I kept those books for so long, I did not want to give them back. I eventually did, so I read them all in, like, 6th grade. And they were so fucking good. They were so good. Oh my god. Is my mom calling me? I don't know. They were so freaking good. I loved them. They were, like, the best. And I was told to stop talking about them one time. This is sort of just, like, a short mini story. And this whole, not story, but short, thing throughout this. There was this one time in 6th grade where I noticed a friend, they had finally gotten a second book in the library. Because I think what happened was a kid had it out for a long time. But then they finally brought it back. And my friend, not going to name drop. Well, I mean, no, I won't name drop. There's this one friend I had, I'll call them A, you know? And they're reading the second one, and I'm like, oh my gosh, how did you like those books? I love those books. They're so fucking good. And they're like, oh, I think so too. And I'm like, have you read the first one? And they're like, I'm reading it right now. And I'm like, no, you're not. What are you talking about? And they're like, is this not the first one? And I'm like, no, it's not the first one. What are you talking about? I was so angry. I was mad about it for a long time, and I was like, well, you should put that one down for a little while and read the first one. And they're like, no. And I'm like, okay. Don't mess with me right now. Anyways, so I got into those, and all throughout 7th grade, I had a plan to reread them, but I never got around to it because that teacher I had back then, she had left the school. She didn't go to our school anymore, and I was like, goddamn, okay, whatever, I'll figure something out. I didn't figure something out until Christmas last year. 8th grade, I was finally at the first year of like I was the age of Vlad in the first book. You know, I was like, I finally reached it. 8th grade. I was in 8th grade last year. Ew, that is so cringe. Anyways, I finally got the books for Christmas, right? I reread them around, I think in February, so it's been like exactly a year that I've been like fixated on them. You know, like I love these books. Or not fixated, honestly. The fixation never wavered. It's more become my special interest. And I did like them in 7th grade and the beginning of 8th grade. I just didn't know there was like a fandom, and I didn't know that there were like other people who liked them. Also, I really hate the box set on Amazon. Or no, I don't hate the box set necessarily. I just wish the box set also included 12th grade kills. Because it doesn't include the last book in the series in the box set for some reason, so you have to buy it separately. God, it felt like a scam, I'm not gonna lie. But, anyways, so, there's this whole, like, what? Sorry. So, I got back into them after, Christmas of 2023? Christmas 2023. I got back into them then. Because I had finally gotten the books, and I was like, yay! And I started getting halfway through the, through 10th grade, bleeds, and I'm like, guys, I need the last one. So I posted about it on my Snapchat story, and I'm like, guys, I kind of need this. I'm going to tweak out. And then my wonderful, amazing grandma, she's like, well, what's a book? Or no, she just goes, send me a link. So I sent her the link, and then it eventually came, and I was so freaking excited. But yeah, that is just that. I guess that's the story of my beloved Chronicles of Vladimir Tod books, or how I got into them. I'll see if there's anything else on the list I can add to this like ending. Alright, this is going to be a very short segment. When the book was popular, or segment, you know what I'm saying. When the book was popular. This book, from what I believe, used to be popular. Like, I'm pretty sure people used to really like this book. Because I've had a bunch of, like, teachers be like, oh, a little while ago, people used to love these books. People got these books all the time. Like, this was the emo kids' jam. I feel like all the emo kids read this book back then. Could be wrong, maybe not all of them, but quite a lot. I wasn't around. I mean, I was probably born, but, like, I wasn't there for its peak, sadly. It's sort of very small now. Not many people know of it. Actually, it feels like literally nobody knows it, but heading on to our next segment, you would if you were on Tumblr. Well, not if you're on Tumblr, but, like, if you look up the title of the book and you look up look it up on Tumblr, you will find stuff. Okay, on to our next segment, the Tumblr fandom.
I've lost my goddamn mind. It happens all the time.
The Tumblr fandom. This is so, like, okay. This is the only place you will find the Chronicles of Vladimir Tod content. I will say, back whenever a little bit last year, like the beginning of last year, I feel like there were more people active back then, but also that could just be because it was my first time seeing so much of this content, because I went 2 years thinking this shit didn't have anybody. I thought I was the only one who read this shit. So, Tumblr fandom, I would say I'm pretty well known. Okay, so whoops, sorry, my dogs are barking. I'd say I'm pretty well known in the fandom, but that could also just be me bragging. I don't know. My art's on Google. My fan art's on Google. My art's on Google. My art's been in a Vladimir Tod edit, actually. Which there's only one edit, but my art was used in it. I'd say I'm pretty well known. I'd say I'm gonna add a few other people. These are just shout outs because they're very cool people. I've personally interacted with some of them. And I reblog a lot of their art, or just their thoughts, and they reblog mine sometimes. They're very cool people. I'd say for fan art, I'm decently well known, at least. There's not many people in this fandom. It's a graveyard, okay? So, my personal favorites, just two people that I really, really like would be Vlad Tod fan, and I think this person's username is Cloudy Heaven. And I will put some others on the screen. Those are just the top ones I know at the top of my head. Just my favorite people in this fandom. I don't know. But, anyways, so the Tumblr fandom is looking at old posts, is looking at a graveyard. I know most of those people are, I don't know, they don't really post about it anymore, which, reasonable, people grow out of their favorite things, right? Everybody does, everybody does. I mean, okay, not everybody, but a lot of people do. But there are still people who are active in the fandom, and it's very cool, and it does sometimes you do wish there was more people in the fandom, but it does feel like a very cool, tight little community when you're on Tumblr. There is a Discord, but I don't want to. I'm in the Discord. I don't really talk much though, because I'm very awkward. Because I'm very young. I feel like I'm pretty sure I'm younger than most of the people in that server, so I feel a little awkward. I feel like a little 5-year-old talking to a bunch of 85-year-old people. They're not 85, but it feels scary. It feels scary to talk to them. They're all very cool though, but this is more about the Tumblr fandom. It's very cool, very, I feel accepting community, I'd say. I've had one beef. I've had one beef on the Chronicles of Vladimir Tod Tumblr. I mean, I'm sure most people have had 0. I had a beef with this one person because I said something about AO3, and the fanfics on AO3 were very strange to me. And I said that I read them, which I didn't read them. I read the tags, but by reading the tags, you can tell it's a fucking insane fic. Or fix. There are multiple. There's actually a lot. Basically, it's just Vlad x really old vampires. It was really weird, and it's all, like, smut. And I made a post, I was like, this is really weird. And someone was like, listen, it's just fan fiction, blah, blah. And I had, like, a small beef with them. My sister got involved. It wasn't that serious, but, like, I ended up apologizing later that night. I was like, hey, listen, sorry. But it's whatever. Okay, so what the hell? I'm not going to be able to get them to stop, sorry about that. But my point is it's very tight community. I still stand by my point in that argument, though, personally, but I'm not going to fight about it, because it's not worth it. It's also just stupid to fight about. But, yeah, I don't know, it's a very awesome community, it's very great. And, I love posting on there, on my Tumblr about it. Like, my whole Tumblr account is just dedicated to the Chronicles of Vladimir Tod, because it's my obsession. I have a lot of art. I will show my username. Actually, I'm probably gonna have a link to this video on my Tumblr. I don't know. But, yeah, I don't know. That's the Tumblr fandom. It's very great. It was very, very cool. It's a very cool place. It's very chill. There's not that many people, but it's very tight community, but it's great, Anyway, that's that. I'm gonna go see if there's literally anything else I can drag on to on this video, but
Yes, I'm pretty. Sure that this won't be pretty. And we can dance all night in the fiery glow and they burn down
okay,
this whole city.
we've made it. This is my last segment. You know what I'm saying. I keep saying segment. This is the last part of the video. This is me talking about the spin-off series. Whoa, sorry. Listen, I'm sick as fuck. I live in a place where the weather gets to me. Sorry, I was gonna say where I lived and I was like, oh no. Anyways, technically there's 2 spin-off series now, if we really think about it. But, okay, so the main spin-off series that I know of both, but I've got a little bit more, like, reading experience with this one. I'm actually, like, a little bit through the second book of it. There's 3 books. It is called the Slayer Chronicles. It is about a character that we didn't talk about. I did start talking about the second book, but I don't trust myself to get all of the story in that right. So I was like, listen, I'm going to put this down. So I put it down for a little bit. And I decided maybe I will make another video. I probably won't, but the second video will probably never happen. But it's about a character, Joss, that Vlad becomes friends with, who turns out to be a vampire slayer. And the books are very good. I won't go, like, into detail. It's just, like, I feel like a lot of people who know Vladimir Tod don't actually know about these books because they're actually not very easy to find anymore. The third one is almost impossible to find. I had to find it on eBay, and it was pretty expensive for a normal book. Like, most books are, like, $11, This, especially, compared to the other books, it was extremely expensive because I got the first 2 for, like, $5, both of them were $5 because I got them on Walmart, but they were still pretty hard to come around and hard to find. But the third one, it wasn't anywhere on Walmart.com. It wasn't on Amazon. My sister was hunting for it, and there's one listing for some reason. It's $100. I am not buying that shit. I found this one for $22, and it's coming soon. But the books are very good. Not many people read that. I feel like, I've heard that they might have been more popular than Vladimir Tod, but I do not think that is true. I know it's not true. I feel like, because the hashtag difference is crazy, like how many posts. So I'd say nobody really, I feel like a lot of people don't know about those books. Oh, well, I no, that's just not true. I think a lot of people are aware of the existence about them, but I don't think many people have actually read them. I could have became one of those people. No, but the brain rot settled in. I had to read them. I'm halfway through the second one. I actually have the third one bought on my phone, but I'm personally a big fan of physical media, at least when it comes to books and manga. I'd rather die than read a book on my phone. I just can't do it, you know what I mean? So I have the, I bought the book in real life, and I can tell you I will never open that on my phone. But I have the third one coming. The other spin-off series, it's considered a series now, because they posted, or the creator Z on Tumblr posted that they posted the description and I believe cover of the new book that's coming out soon, eventually. It is called The Chronicles of Victor Valentine. It is a book from what I haven't actually read the first one yet. I got it for Christmas, just like I did the Slayer Chronicles this year. Well, technically last year, because it was 2024, but I got it for Christmas, and I haven't got the chance to open it, because I wanted to read the Slayer Chronicles first, because technically I'll know more about certain characters if I read Slayer Chronicles, so I decided to read that one. So, that's that, you know. The Victor Valentine, I believe his mom is Elizabeth Bathory, and his dad is Dracula. And from what I heard, it's pretty quirky. It's pretty silly. It's pretty fun. From what I've heard, I haven't actually gotten to it. But Victor Valentine, he's human. He's a human boy. He's just a guy. You know, he's human. His parents or something. I think he's adopted. From what I'm getting at, like, he's gotta be adopted. You know what I mean? But, I mean, if two vampires had a baby, would it be human? I'd think not, but I don't know. Yeah, because I haven't thought about it. I'm sure there's an answer somewhere in the Discord. I just haven't read it. But anyways, that's that. That will be the end of this video. You probably didn't watch this to all the way through, and that is okay. That is A-okay. I would have skipped, I would have got 13 seconds into this damn video and skipped. You can probably tell as the whole thing goes on, I start to give less and less of a fuck. Listen, I got home from school today, and I immediately started working on this, and it's like 7 p.m. now, I think. I've been locked in, okay? And I haven't even edited the visuals for this yet, which they're probably going to be shitty and ugly, but, you know, whatever. Also, I guess, apologies for cursing. Listen, I'm a high schooler. It's gonna happen. I curse all the time. It's half of my vocabulary, let's be so for real. I don't know why I do it so much. I just find it fun. Not fun. I don't know. It's just habit. I curse a lot. I don't know. But I want to say sorry. I know sometimes people don't like when people curse too much, which, understandable. I just can't help it. I can't help it for some reason. I don't know. Anyways, that is it. Goodbye!